Before assembling the machine, please organize all the parts. We have prepared all necessary fasteners, and each step is accompanied by a diagram showing the parts. For machine installation, simply follow the steps below to assemble the machine quickly. Step 1. Use hexagon socket flathead bolts, spring washers, and flat washers to attach the rear foot tube weldment to the gantry frame. The fasteners are located on the product. Step 2. Use hexagon socket flathead bolts, flat washers, spring washers, and nylon lock nuts to connect the gantry frame to the support frame. Step 3. Insert the base plate assembly and buffer pad into the slide bar. Then insert the lower end of the slide bar into the mounting hole at the bottom of the gantry frame. Keep the lower end stationary and tilt the upper end outward. Install the counterweight assembly from large to small according to the weight markings. Then install the counterweight head assembly. Slide the slide bar fixing sleeve onto the slide bar. Align it and insert the fixing sleeve into the mounting hole at the top of the gantry frame. Pull up the slide bar while tightening the hexagon socket set screws to secure the base plate assembly to the slide bar. Insert the counterweight pin. Step 4. Insert the rotating shaft into the shaft sleeve on the gantry frame and use half round head hexagon bolts, spring washers, end caps, and bearing retaining rings to secure the rotating shaft to the gantry frame. Align the swing pipe assembly with the rotating shaft and secure it by tightening the hexagon socket set screws. The fasteners for this step are located on the product. Step 5. Remove the screw caps and rubber plugs from the steel wire rope assembly and the right guard plate. Use nylon lock nuts and flat washers to attach the end of the steel wire rope assembly to the swing pipe assembly. Pass the steel wire rope assembly through the pulleys. Reinstall the screw caps and rubber plugs and secure the screw cap onto the steel wire rod on the counterweight lifting rod. Reinstall the right guard plate. Step 6. Use half round head hexagon bolts to secure the rear guard plate and front guard plate to the gantry frame. Use hexagon socket flathead bolts, spring washers, and flat washers to attach the water bottle holder to the gantry frame. Step 7. Use flat washers, spring washers, and hexagon socket flathead bolts to attach the armrest assembly to the support frame. Insert the chest pad adjustment weldment into the adjustment hole of the support frame. Screw in the cotter pin assembly and adjust the chest pad adjustment weldment to the appropriate position. Use cylindrical head hexagon bolts to secure the chest pad adjustment weldment. As a stopper, the cylindrical head hexagon bolts need to be removed during installation. Install the limit buffer pad onto the swing pipe assembly axle and secure it with hexagon socket flathead bolts, spring washers, and flat washers. Install the foot pedal assembly onto the axle of the swing pipe assembly. Align the mounting holes and secure it with hexagon socket flathead bolts, spring washers, and flat washers. Step 8. Use hexagon socket flathead bolts, spring washers, and flat washers to secure the chest pad assembly to the chest pad adjustment weldment. Use hexagon socket flathead bolts, spring washers, and flat washers to secure the small hand pad to the support frame. Check and tighten all screws. monthly. Check all assembly bolts and retighten them. Shake the product. If wobbling occurs, adjust its position or foot pad height weekly. Check all rotating parts for smoothness and no unusual noises. Ensure the steel wire rope is taut and the counterweight blocks are not suspended in a stationary state. Check the function of the pin assembly and tighten. Apply silicone oil to the slide bar and bearing rotating parts. Use the product normally and ensure all functions are working daily. Check for wear or damage to load-bearing components like the steel wire rope, pulleys, and counterweights. Check the product surface for paint peeling, leather aging, softening, label peeling, or surface damage, and replace if necessary. Wipe the product surface with pledge. Remove the rear panel and the right-hand panel. Loosen the screw cap on the counterweight adjustment rod to take out the steel wire rope and remove the screw cap together with the rubber plug. Follow the steel wire rope to detach the connecting piece that secures the other end of the rope, and then remove the steel wire rope. Pick up a new steel wire rope, fix one end to the swing tube assembly, and guide the other end around the pulley to connect it to the counterweight adjustment rod. At the counterweight adjustment rod, first thread the steel wire rope through the screw cap and rubber plug, then insert it into the groove of the rod. Use the screw cap to secure the steel wire rope. Adjust the tension of the steel wire rope by adjusting the length of the counterweight adjustment rod, and finally tighten the rod with an M12 nut. Reinstall the right-hand panel and the rear panel.